For years, Asia's poker paradise of Macau has been the destination for poker's elite cash game players to test their mettle against the richest businessmen in the game. But today, 6,000 miles away in Monaco, the men from Macau take on the pros on their own turf at the final stop of EPT Season 10.
The grand final super high roller is really great. You've got some of the top players in the world with a couple businessmen from Macau.
The fact that there are many people from Macau is part of the reason why I expect lots of action.
They know they're up against the best. They love the challenge.
East and West collide in the 100,000 euro super high roller. It's day 2 of the PokerStars and Monte Carlo Casino EPT Grand Final Super High Roller. 50 players entered this 100k event, with 12 re-entries, creating a prize pool of over 6 million euros. 16 players now remain, and the winner will walk away with 1.8 million. Some new recruits take on some familiar faces as we play down to our final table. Last time, defending champion Max Altegot was crippled early and forced to go all in.
You get 100,000 euro in with 7 deuce, man.
And he was the first to head for the exit. Phil Ivey slowly built up his stack and made a move on Dan Jungleman Cates.
Phil, got me?
I don't know what you had.
Daniel Negreanu was chip leader early on, but ran a big bluff into Ole Schmeion.
Okay, take me.
I have this. I don't think I have it. Wait a minute. No, I missed. That wins.
Ole then dominated the feature table and currently leads the final 16. So we are down to 2 tables, 8 players from the money. And leading the pack right now is Ole Schmeion, who seems to be stuck in beast mode.
More like turbo beast mode. In the last 5 days, he won a high roller in San Remo. He final tabled a major online tournament, and he won his seat to this 100k event for the low, low price of just 10k.
Well, if you want to talk about bargains, how about 2 old school stars up on the main stage for the price of 1? Both Daniel Negreanu and Phil Ivey.
It's the best deal in town.
With over 30 million euros in prize money between them, Daniel Negreanu and Phil Ivey are always up for the challenge.
When people enter a super high roller, it's super tense and everybody's trying to win. I actually look forward to stuff like this. I love it.
But here to challenge the big guns are some of Asia's richest businessmen. Will their cash game experience prove beneficial in tournament play?
Macau, you play the cash game, you can rebuy. Tournament only got 1 life.
You got these new businessmen from Macau who are actually quite good and they're underestimated. They have an opportunity to sit with the top players in their craft because they can afford to.
The Macau boys can afford to take risks as we play down to the money. So day 2, part 2.
Hey, someone took my water.
Here we go.
They stole my water.
It is our most precious resource.
I had a water.
Make sure it's vegan water.
I drink a lot of water.
Best keep quiet, guys. Let Daniel get through this. Hey, buddy. Good to see you, too. Hope you brought money. Oh, Schemion, look at this kid. So much swag. He's like Frodo Swaggins.
While Schemion is the tournament chip leader with nearly 2.4 million, the 2 other big stacks at the secondary table are Richard Young and Dan Coleman. Olivier Busquet is the low man at the table with 275,000. Up on the main stage, Dan Cates is the table chip leader with Peter Chan not far behind him. Negreanu, Ivey, and PCA Super High Roller champ Fabian Quoss are all reasonably short. with the blinds currently 10,000 and 20,000 with a 3,000 ante.
Pretty excited to have Jungle Man Dan up there. Daniel Cates. You know, I've heard we've been mispronouncing Jungle Man's name. Apparently it's Jungleman.
While another player with a nickname, Mike Timex McDonald, is first to speak, under the gun.
Mike Timex McDonald.
10 deuce. He folds. Dan Cates.
40.
Jungleman's raising.
Nice pronunciation.
40.
Ace jack of clubs for Cates. 7-8 of clubs for Negreanu. He calls the 40k.
You do what he do.
I do what I do, man. You never know what comes.
Pocket kings for Phil Ivey.
I was gonna say Daniel would be in trouble if we saw clubs. Now he's in trouble no matter what. Here comes the old Ivey Hucklebuck.
A re-raise, a 3-bet to 135,000. Fabian Quoss folds the big blind. It's back on Cates.
Against someone as aggressive as Ivey, Jungleman might be tempted to call, but with the effective stack depth, Ace-Jack doesn't play very well, and he just got raised after raising pretty early.
He folds.
Daniel hates folding, hates it.
But on this occasion, he lays it down. Ivey gets that one through and adds 131k to his stack.
And check out this classic Ivey celebration.
Now remember, only half the remaining players will make the money. Make the final table, you're guaranteed 241,000 euros. Win, you get 1.8 million. And something tells me the Macau boys are only interested in first place. You have to remember, these guys play in the biggest cash games on the planet. So when it comes to this tournament, they're playing for the win.
I'm gonna do that 3-bet thing now. Why not?
Gotta mix it up.
I'm gonna do it when I get good cards.
Daniel, not so much of a light 3-better.
Well, he's in the big blind on this hand. It's been folded to Ronno low, who's got ace-king under the gun +1. And he just limps.
More like Ronno lol. I've actually spent some time in Macau, Bragg, and he's actually kind of famous for this.
Folded around to Cates, who completes from the small blind with queen-6. Negreanu with ace-jack in the big.
Oh boy. Wonder if Daniel's aware of Lowe's reputation over there.
All in.
Oh, he shoved!
I don't know. Are you gonna raise a little bit, raise a lot? Put the whole thing in. Hope he doesn't have it. Well, 500. Oh, don't even ask how much. Why you want to know? Find another hand. That's 400. Lots of money, man. A lot of money. That's a lot. That's 502. 502. Too much. Too much to call. No. 502.
Big raise from Daniel.
Crazy to call. It's too much. Too much, I tell you. No, why do you do that for? Hey, so we have to show him now?
Daniel dominated and at risk.
Ace king?
Yes. Ace king?
Yeah.
Yeah, good hand. I almost checked too. Just said, let's see what happens. I can make a flush. Or a jack. Yeah. Diamonds work.
Can't talk your way out of this one.
55 bigs.
No help for Daniel.
Okay, straights are coming.
Running cards required.
Optimist. Even if a king comes, it's fine. I can still win. You can't have me drawn dead no matter what comes.
Queen or jack, good for you.
Whatever. Anything. No bad card on the turn. No such thing. Even king's fine. Make it straight. Oh! Give him king. He wants king, please. You want king? King?
7 out. 7 out. 7
King or
out.
8? King or 8, right?
It's a 10.
Okay. Good hand. Nice hand. Okay. Good luck, guys.
Daniel Negreanu is out.
That limp with ace-king was below the belt. You know, when Daniel busts these things, I can't tell if he truly doesn't care or if he's just gonna snap one day.
Somebody need a microphone? I got an extra.
Snap!
Oops. He had good cards. Better than mine.
Ronno Low is now playing the better part of 2 million after expertly trapping one of the best in the game.
Well, the Macau players are an interesting breed because, you know, originally people flew out there. It's like, oh, great games. These guys are learning the game. But the truth is they have learned the game, and they're much better than they were, and they're very tricky. I got trapped because of the way that he played his hand. No other pro would have played a hand like that, and I wouldn't have gone broke in the situation. So they have some tricks up their sleeve. They might not be conventional, but that often makes them more difficult to play against.
Well, at the secondary table, high-stakes Macau player Sun Lezo is all in and way behind.
Would this be one of the tricks up their sleeves? Because it's probably not going to work.
Busquet, an 81% favorite.
Me.
An even bigger favorite now. Neither player has a spade. Only a 3 will save Sun Lezo. It's a queen.
Time for one of the Macau boys to ride off into the sunset. Yeehaw.
Yep.
Sun Lezo eliminated in 15th place, while Olivier Busquet has pretty much tripled his stack from the start of the day. But this guy is still the chip leader with 14 players remaining. Ole Schmeion with close to 2.3 million. Lowe is now second in chips, having knocked out Negreanu, and Busquets crawled into the top 8 after busting Sun Lezo.
Oh, so much swag for Schemion. Kid should have a tail just so he can swag it.
Back to the main feature table. Action on Phil Ivey. King-Queen offsuit.
Queen. Good even under the gun.
He raises to 40,000. Gets a fold from Peter Chan. Fabian Quoss is out. Ace-3 for Mike McDonald. He folds. Dan Cates has King-Jack of spades.
Dominated.
He calls on the button. Quark gives up the small blind.
Cool.
Low calls in the big blind with 10-6.
It's actually fine with the odds he was getting. So funny, Jungle Man can't even look at Ivey.
3-way to the flop. King-Jack 3, top 2 for Cates.
Check.
Low has a total bagolino. He checks.
Ivey could lose a lot of chips here.
He continues with top pair for 65,000.
Cates could smooth call this, or he could raise, knowing Ivey raised under the gun, and this is going to hit him a lot.
Looks like Cates is raising. Jungle Man makes it 165,000. And it's time for Low to go.
Shorty got low, 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 low. Low, low, low.
He folds.
Now, Jungle Man probably doesn't do this with Ace-King, so he's either got 2 pairs and sets or some kind of big combo draw. Most folks ain't folding this to a single raise from an aggressive player. Ivey's spot is tougher than that math problem from Goodwill Hunting.
Wow, Ivey folds!
My boy's wicked smart.
Dan Cates chips up to over 2 million, but he did not get maximum value there. What a laydown from one of the best players of all time. Tweet your love for Phil Ivey.
Yum.
Use the hashtag EPT.
That was actually pretty gross.
Welcome back to the PokerStars and Monte Carlo Casino EPT Grand Final Super High Roller. During the break, we lost last year's third-place finisher Sorel Mitzi. He lost a race to Dan Coleman.
Good luck, guys.
Meanwhile, Ole Schmeion has been reasonably quiet this level, but he remains chip leader. 13 remain as we head back to the action. Blinds are still 10-20. Peter Chan under the gun at our feature table.
One of the Macau boys.
He folds. Fabian Quoss.
Fits right in with the Macau boys. Looks like he should be driving a stagecoach.
Folded around to Dan Cates. He passes. Paul Poit on the button. King 4.
Sure, raising's fine in position.
He makes it 45,000. Lowe folds the small blind. Phil Ivey with 9-6 in the big blind.
Is not folding. You know, if 6'9" has some off-color nicknames, I think 9'6" should be the cold shoulder.
So heads up to the flop. Poit with the betting lead and position. But he is up against Phil Ivey, who flops second pair. Poit with bottom pair.
Both have got a little showdown value.
Ivey checks. And Poit checks behind. The turn card is a jack. Poit picks up a gut shot. Ivey checks a second time. Pois checks a second time. The river is a 4. Trips for Pois.
The little shot Ivey had at being able to bet a 9 for value has now just turned into no shot.
He checks.
Easy value bet for Pois. Lots of worse hands can call, including maybe the one Ivey's got.
This would be a delayed c-bet, 67,000.
Phil's only beating bluffs, so he's got to figure out how often he's up against a bluff here. It's a weird line for a bluff. Check, check, fire.
This time Ivey can't get away from it. He calls. And loses 115k.
67.
Ivey taking on a rare trip to Value Town. You know, he's only been there once before, but there's still a photo of him up at the dry cleaners.
Pois now playing close to 1.7 million after getting the better of Phil Ivey.
Hey, Phil, can you recommend a good restaurant in Value Town? Yep.
Right here, right now, the Macau boys are bossing this super high roller event.
For poker players, Macau is a paradise. A very good chance to make a lot of money if you plan it right.
澳门的每天晚上都有比较大的 cash game。
In Macau, you always can see that 3-4 million on the pot, but I seen the bigger pot, 50 million US. 50 in the pot.
The money that some of these kids win is phenomenal. Macau is like hunting ground for them.
今天这边都是高手。
I play the high roller because of play with all the good player. Maybe I learn a lot.
必须要跟这些世界的高手自己要不断的去思考，不断的学习才可以的。前几年中国人在澳门跟这些高手玩的话。
Maybe 3-4 years before, a lot of people from China, they don't know how to play. People think of the fish. But year by year, I know more poker.
I would say poker is a hobby, but lucky to be also playing and winning. We play a lot together. We are very good friends. We'll be just happy whoever maybe even can win the title.
Like me, I hope to get a title.
希望在不久的将来，有很多中国人参与这个比赛，也可以达到前茅的位置。
In the words of Snoop Dogg, these guys are young and wild and free.
Well, Richard Yong came 8th in the first ever $1 million buy-in tournament held at the 2012 World Series of Poker. When the World Series went down under in 2013, Ronno Low came 4th in the high roller event.
There is no business like low business.
And the 3rd place finisher in that high roller tournament in Melbourne was Paul Pois, who has live tournament earnings of close to $2.4 million. But of course, most of the time, these guys are playing in the cash games. Action at the feature table has been folded to Phil Ivey in the small blind. Ace-6. Ivey raises to 55,000. Peter Chan, another member of the Macau contingent with Queen 10 of spades.
Yeah, come on, suited Broadway in for a discount. Does this man not look like the kind of guy who likes a discount? Burgundy Sport Coat knows what I'm talking about.
He defends his big blind. And we go to the flop. Ivey out of position, but with the pre-flop betting lead.
He's maybe having to adjust a little bit to these wild cards.
8-7-5 flop. Ace high still good. Ivey's also up and down.
I think Ivey may be used to playing against these guys in Macau, too.
He checks.
Now, this isn't a board you would typically expect Phil to check raise, so I think taking a stab here in general ain't so bad.
Chan does take a stab. 50,000.
Chan's usually gonna have a decent amount of equity against Ivey's checking hands, but not today though, buddy. Not today. Ivey does have the perfect hand to check raise.
Ivey does check raise, and it's a virtual all-in. Those last 4 chips not in play. A bit too stringy, Mr. Ivey.
And now a fold becomes more obvious than who the killer is on Law & Order. It's always the guest star.
Cannot mess with it.
Chan gives it up.
Ivey pretty sure he was gonna hit it straight there. When you play that aggressively, you don't have to.
Sir Phil Ivey adds 123,000 to his stack. But despite winning that pot, he is still in the bottom half of the leaderboard. 2 Germans, Quoss and Gruesome, are the 2 players edging into the danger zone.
Danger zone!
They've got around 20 big blinds each. McDonald, Ivey and Busquet are all hovering around the 30 big blind mark. Meanwhile, there are now 3 players with more than 2 million. Macau high roller Rono Low, Dan Jungleman Cates, and Ole Schmeion, who still leads the tournament with a stack of nearly 2.3 million.
We've got some Schemion Yang action heating up.
Yeah, at the secondary feature table, Schemion's heads up to the flop against Richard Yang.
Yang, the original raiser, but Schemion 3-bet before the flop, so technically he's the last aggressor.
He continues, and Yang folds.
ABC poker. So much swag, this kid. It's like this is swag to the future, and he's Marty McSwag.
Schemion now has more than 2.4 million. Let's head back to the main feature table. Phil Ivey, under the gun, first to speak. Ace-6 again.
Oh, so this time Ace-6 isn't good enough, huh?
A wise fold, Mr. Ivey. Fabian Quoss has Ace-Queen in the hijack.
I guess it wasn't good enough. I apologize. I'm sorry.
Our most recent super high roller champ raises, makes it 40,000. Ace-Deuce of spades for Mike McDonald.
This actually could be a perfect hand to 3-bet. It doesn't flop great heads up, but in a 3-bet pot in position, it can be a great semi-bluffing hand.
Mike re-raises. The 3-bet is 90,000. Pocket 8s for Rono Low.
It's going to be really tempting to cold call here, but he's not really getting the right implied odds with his opponent's stacks.
Ah, but you're not factoring in the lucky beads.
90.
Call.
Rono Low cold calls the 3-bet.
And with his stack, Fabian could jam here, but maybe not because he's usually only going to get called by better.
He does have an awkward stack size. He elects to call. It's a 3-way to the flop.
Mike McDonald doesn't know who to stare at. Yeah, stare at him. Too much neck craning to stare at the guys right next to you. Plus EV stare.
Rono Low out of position, but he flops a set.
Rut-row.
Check.
He checks it. Quoss checks.
Poor Mike McDonald. Gonna feel like he's got a continuation bet this. I could have clubs just as easily as spades, right? Right?
Well, that is a decent percentage of his stack, 100,000.
There we go. Oh, look at this guy.
Low shoves. Quoss is out.
Hem haw, all in. Classic. And all that for nothing because he's gonna get 2 folds.
Mike McDonald now the low man at the table.
We were gonna subtitle this conversation, but it turns out they're talking about Game of Thrones spoilers. You're welcome.
Well, let's head over to the secondary table where there is a 3-way all-in. Gruesome shoved with 5s. Busquet reshoved with Ace-Queen. Kurganov called with Ace-King. Igor has them both covered.
Busquet, more like bye-bye.
Everybody survives. 5 queen.
For the record, he doesn't really want that to happen.
Usually, right?
The flop is 9 high. Gruesome still ahead.
The last chips are the toughest to get.
Gruesome now a 69% favorite. Busquet has a flush draw, but of course the 3 of diamonds gives Gruesome a straight flush. It's the king of diamonds. A flush for Busquet. He gets a near triple up. And Phil Bort is eliminated.
Olivier, it's okay. Igor's prediction nearly came true. 2/3 of them survived.
All right.
Kind of a gruesome way to go out. Oh my god, I totally didn't even mean that.
Good luck, guys, yeah? See you later.
Good game.
12 players remain in this super high roller. If you want to play in an EPT event, go to PokerStars.com. There are qualifiers every day. Night draws in at the PokerStars and Monte Carlo Casino EPT Grand Final Super High Roller. With Phil Gruesom's elimination, we have 12 players left in the field. And during the break, the stars realigned as Phil Ivey moved to the secondary feature table. And Ivey is in action. He is raised from the cutoff and been 3-bet by Olivier Busquet in the small blind.
Ivey's been nursing that short stack like he's Florence Nightingale. It is all going in here. Imagine if he just went choo-choo. Wouldn't that be wild?
So Ivey shoves, and Busquet calls.
Busquet won when he was behind. Will luck run him down this time?
I could have just called. Wow.
That is results-oriented thinking, Phil, and you are better than that. I'm almost positive.
Busquet, big favorite with kings. And it's a king-high flop.
That's not good.
Tough beat for Ivey and whoever has to mix this audio.
Busquet now a 98% favorite. And Ivey is drawing dead on the turn. He's out. Eliminated in 12th.
Good to see you.
Yeah, just hand that right off to the tournament director. That's how those get lost, Phil.
A sad moment as the legend leaves the building.
And as the legend heads probably straight for the pit.
What a turnaround for Olivier Busquet. One of the European Poker Tour's nearly men.
I actually have 3 big second places in the EPT, 2 in high rollers. At first, it was a little bit frustrating to get second places because obviously the title is what everybody wants, but I feel very fortunate to get second place. I reject now the idea that the only thing worth being happy about is a first place finish. The vast majority of my experience has been playing online, and especially in the last few years, online games have gotten very, very tough. So the vast majority of my opponents in the last few years have been of very high-level plays. Part of my edge is my ability to play with and hopefully, you know, play better than very thinking, thoughtful, analytical, smart players. This tournament is one of the most prestigious tournaments all year. Obviously a huge prize pool and a very, very tough field. So to win the tournament would be an incredible accomplishment, something I'd be very proud of. I'm confident. I have a bunch of experience playing with some of these players. And, you know, if I continue to run well, I think I have a good shot.
Olivier Busquet, only ever in a suit or an undershirt. Polarized.
Lines up to 12-24. Ron Lowe is first to speak at our feature table.
Cool.
And he limps under the gun. This is a Gibbons.
A low Gibbons.
Once again limping with a big hand in early position.
Cool.
Peter Chan calls as well with King 10 in the hijack. Queen 6 suited for Fabian Quoss. He's going to join the party. Mike McDonald folds the button. Kate in the small blind is in. And Paul Poit checks his option in the big blind. 5-way action in a limped pot.
Almost a family pot. A really messed up family.
Well, Chan flops best, top pair.
Check.
Fabian Quoss has a flush draw. Action has been checked to Ron Lowe. He taps the table. Peter Chan checks as well. Looks like Quoss will bet his draw.
Yeah, he's not going to let this check around. It would be unconstitutional.
60.
60,000. Kate's out. Poit gone. Now Lowe started all this nonsense by limping with 10s. He's not going to fold to 1-bet. And Chan, currently a 60% favorite. will call as well. So three-way to the turn. And would you believe it? That is the case 10. Two pair for Chan, a set for Low, who is now a 78% favorite.
That is a pretty wild card. The 10 is the worst thing to happen to a Chan since Rush Hour 3. Or maybe the Spy Next Door. No, Rush Hour 3.
Chan bets 160,000. Fabian Quoss folds his draw.
Peter 後邊有幾多 ？Peter
80萬，仲有80萬。
raise。
If only I spoke Cantonese.
Well, I heard the word raise. Low makes it 460,000.
We know Low likes to limp with Ace-King, but do they know if he limps with big pairs too? Because if he does this with his monsters and never with bluffs, you can actually get away from this.
Chan calls.
Ah, but you know that he likes to do this. You probably know.
Rono Low humming the Chinese national anthem as we go to the river, which is the 8 of diamonds.
The Chinese national anthem, one of the good ones.
He's shoving.
Call.
And Chan calls all in.
Oh, that is a huge pot.
No one wants to show their cards.
3條10啦，老哥。310 yes all in top 2 top 2 against set.
Sounds like their English is fine when it comes to bad beat stories.
So Peter Chan is eliminated.
He's gonna have to take the slow boat to Canada.
啊，Peter，握個手先得㗎，sorry 啊。
OK，唔使攞，贏咗。
好啦。
Now that word I know. Chinese dealer once scolded me for using that word and not being Chinese.
Is that just a bit or a true story?
True story. We dated for 7 years after that.
I don't need to ask about that one. That was a bit. So Peter Chan exits the Salle des Etoiles after losing that huge pot to Rono Low. He rakes in the chips and is the new tournament chip leader.
More like Rono High.
He has close to 3.7 million, about 600,000 more than Schemion. After busting Phil Ivey, Olivier Busquet sits in 5th, a couple of spots ahead of his protege, Daniel Coleman. Well, at the secondary table, Coleman has gone to the flop against Schemion, the former chip leader.
Look at this kid. If he were a 1970s floor covering, he'd be swag carpeting.
Schemion has bet with top pair. Coleman, with a pair and a flush draw, has called. 10 on the turn, Schemion still ahead.
Coleman whiffs. Schemion's got a straight draw to go with his top pair. Not much reason to stop betting. Even if there was, it's not like he's running low on swag. His swag meter's all swagged out. His swag graph is off the swags.
He's bet 69,000.
Sometimes Dan will be up against bigger spades or not have 3s and 4s as outs, but usually he's gonna be pretty live.
Coleman elects to call. 263,000 in the middle. The river card is the ace of spades. Schemion gets flushed.
It's an overcard, it's a flush card, it's a straight card. Maybe this is a scare card for Ole. Nope.
He will bet for a third time.
He's going for value thinner than Lara Flynn Boyle during pilot season.
144,000.
Dan's probably thinking of raising. There are some worse hands that can call, especially if they think he's full of baloney. Sweet, delicious Dan Coleman baloney.
That is a raise. 380,000.
Should be an easy fold now.
Schemion lets it go.
Still plenty of swag.
One, come. What? Come on. One card.
Coleman, huge online and a self-professed troll.
Nice hand.
Trying to put all on tilt, but he can't. You know why? Too much swag.
Well, Coleman made his super high roller debut at the PCA, where he busted Daniel Negreanu, and D-Negs didn't have a clue who he was.
Bet he knows now.
Back at the main feature table, Rono Lowe has all the chips. He's in the big blind here. Tell you what, let's sweat with whoever goes after him.
I'm in.
And they're only five-handed. Ace-8 for Fabian Quoss.
Oh, please don't say it's going to be Fabian. I am fresh out of Quoss puns. I just don't think I have it in me today. Although, I do kind of like the way he has his arms crossed.
He's opened with a raise to 50,000. Ladies and gentlemen, we are sweating with Fabian.
Yes.
Mike McDonald folds. Dan Cates is out. Paul Poit in the small blind. Mucks it.
Call.
Rono Lowe ain't folding.
And we can raise under the gun with ace-8 off because we're short-handed and we're raising the blinds of the perceived less experienced player at the table.
The flop's ace-8-5.
Check.
Low checks. Quoss has top 2.
We are probably going to get some of those chips. Nom, 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 nom.
Quoss bets.
Call.
And Lowe quickly calls.
Johnny Juanda pals with these Macau boys. He occasionally lives in Macau.
6 of diamonds on the turn.
Check.
Lowe checks again.
Obviously, we don't love this diamond, but I think we still have to bet it. James, do you know the 5 C's of a diamond? Cut, clarity, color, carats, and quost.
Sigh. Quoss bets 115,000. Action back on Lowe.
He is not so quick to act this time.
I think he said all in.
Oh, yes.
Did he?
Yeah, he announced all in before he threw the ball.
I heard the all-in.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm all in.
I'm all in. We know now. Merci. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup.
Pardon his French.
English with five. Thank you.
All right, let's think about what we know about Sweet and Low Down over here. He limps with big hands. Okay, not applicable here. We've seen him overshove with sets twice. He has overshoved here. Now he's singing and giggling and pushing his friends into the bushes. This is annoying, but I think we probably have to fold here. It's even more annoying when you have an awkward stack size like ours. On the flip side, this guy's a billionaire and is probably capable of anything. This spot is tougher than solving a quadratic equation. Singing is just not something a ton of guys do when they're bluffing.
Quoss calls!
Nuts.
And he's behind.
Yes. King, queen of diamond.
Fabian's not out yet, kids. One card to come.
2 pair, 4 outs. Ace-8, 2 pair. No lah, so lucky.
It's a jack.
He's very lucky.
Lucky, huh? Good luck.
Fabian Quoss, a real Quoss act.
Good luck.
We lose our most recent super high roller winner in 10th place. So now we are down to 1 table of 9.
Good luck, Dan. Good luck.
Nice playing you.
Rono Lowe extends his chip lead, and we are on the money bubble here in Monaco. Welcome back to the PokerStars and Monte Carlo Casino EPT Grand Final. During the break, the final 9 in the 100k Super High Roller drew for seats on the main stage. 3 of the Macau boys are still in the game, with Rono Lowe leading the way. But don't tell him it's down to luck.
Poker 这个东西全部主要全是技术的，没有迷信。
And history may repeat itself. if PCA Super High Roller finalists Ole Schmeion and Mike McDonald make it through the day.
Looked like they were wiring Ole up for an FBI sting. Mike might be the shortest stack, but he's having a pretty good year, so I wouldn't count him out just yet.
And we are indeed on the bubble. 9th place pays nothing. Make it to the final table, you lock up a min cash and come back for the last day of the tournament. That's when you play for the title and the really big bucks. Blinds are still 12,000 and 24,000. Action is on Olivier Busquet, and we're going to sweat with Olivier on this hand. We'll only see his whole cards, which are pocket jacks.
Yes!
No, you look very tired. Not really. I'm okay. I'm a little tired.
That's what he said.
So Olivier has raised to 50,000. Rono Low re-raises, so 3-bet to 150k.
Much like the show True Blood, I immediately don't like this.
It's been folded round to Paul Poit in the small blind. He mucks. It's Dan Cates' big blind. He folds.
He's a little tired.
Back on Busquet.
Anyway, jacks are too strong to fold. Just make sure that's what they are. Yep, okay, got that. Yep. Check our name badge, make sure we're Olivier Busquet, and we call.
So heads up to the flop. Olivier out of position, and without the pre-flop betting lead. A 10 high flop.
I almost wanted to come ace-king on the flop so we could just fold to a bet and not have to make any decisions.
Olivier checks, playing in flow. Rono Low continues for 200k.
Over half the pot. Much like the show True Blood, I'm starting to like this less and less.
With his overpair, Olivier calls.
Jack. Jack.
The turn card
Jack.
is the 8 of clubs. The board is now straighty and flushy.
And straight flushy for us.
Olivier checks again. Low bets again, a big bet, 500,000.
These bets just keep getting bigger and bigger.
And Olivier quickly folds. Low had 780, turn 2 pair.
What I was gonna say is when the guy who's on a sick card run just keeps bombing it, he's usually still on a sick card run.
Hi, Sam.
Good fold us. This guy never doesn't have it. This guy has it more often than the guy who claims he's fine in a zombie movie.
Low up to over 4.5 million.
And much like the show True Blood, Olivier Busquet is a sexy, sexy vampire. You'd think with all the violence and nudity it would be right down my street, but no.
I think I made it to halfway through episode 2.
Oh, wow. It's like 11 sex scenes.
Let's get back to the action. It's been folded around to Dan Cates. Ace 10, he raises.
Fold.
Richard Young announces fold, then looks at his cards, and then actually folds.
I love these Macau boys.
Rono Low folds. Dan Coleman's out. Just Igor Kurganov in the big blind. Ace 9.
Igor, more like Eek. Igor, watch out, buddy.
He defends his big blind with a dominated hand.
Domination Nation.
And it's an Ace 10, 8 flop. Top 2 pair for Cates.
Starts best, flops best. Dangerous flop for Igor, too.
Cates continues for 60k. Igor with top pair.
Igor's not folding, but I can't imagine him going too crazy. Unless someone brings up cheesecake. He loves cheesecake.
Kurganov calls.
The legal department's asking me to tell you guys that the cheesecake thing may or may not be true.
The turn card is a king. Cates pretty much has a lock on this. Kurganov is drawing to a chop. The action check to him a second time. Cates bets a second time, 135,000.
At what point does Igor figure he might be out-kicked worse than Daniel LaRusso? In his defense, only a few hands improved that weren't already beating him.
Kurganov calls a second time. Not leaving much behind. Queen on the river.
Scary board.
Kurganov checks, Cates checks.
It's no good.
You can tell this guy's used to writing in a chat box. I think he was missing a verb in an article there. Kurgles, hang in there! All of you hang in there, I hate this part. I think both guys played this hand about as well as can be. Dan's just ended up being better this time around. You probably can't even really say he missed a bet on the end.
Remember, only 8 seats available at the final table, so one of these guys is going to walk away at least 100,000 euros out of pocket. Huge sums of money up for grabs at the final table. The winner will receive more than 1.8 million euros. Daniel Cates is under the gun. He folds. Richard Young
looks at his cards first this time.
Folded around to Dan Coleman. Ace-Queen suited. He raises to 50k. Pocket sixes for Mike McDonald, who is the table short stack.
Oh boy.
On.
Mike shoves. Schemion folds the small blind. Paul Poit in the big blind. Also folds.
How much is it?
261.
Coleman's looking him up. For that amount, I'm surprised he hasn't called already. Maybe he thinks Mike could be really narrow because of the huge bubble.
I call.
Coleman calls, and it's a flip.
Big race worth hundreds of thousands of euros.
Timex.
These two have played a lot together online. That's like Lex Luthor calling Superman Clark.
McDonald needs these sixes to hold, or he will bubble the tournament. It's an ace-high flop. Coleman takes the lead.
We're gonna get a wheel card out there. We're gonna get like a 4.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
4 of diamonds for the sweat.
Please no.
Dan Coleman's been known to call for suckouts at his tables online, and hands he's not even involved in.
Oh, there we go, there we go.
That gives Mike a straight draw.
He's too good at these.
He's really good at these.
I'm so scared. I'm a jammer.
I would be too.
Yeah.
Only Mike can go broke, though.
He needs a 7, 6, or deuce to survive. It's a queen. McDonald bubbles. Everyone else has cashed.
Get man. Good luck.
Oh man, I was gonna say that bubbling the super high roller final table is the worst, but actually this is the worst.
Starts like.
That turn card. Oh my god.
Mike leaves the arena. Our final table is set.
I thought he's gonna do it again.
Yeah. Then I go on the bus, you know, I go on the bubble. That's how it works, man.
All I can't even hear you, bro. His ears are so full of swag.
That's how life works.
So, 3 of the Macau boys have made the final table. And it's Ronno Lowe who'll come into the last day as chip leader. Ole Schmeion, who satellited into this tournament for 10,000 euros, sits in second. Coleman is now 5th after bursting the bubble. And Igor Kurganov is the short stack with just 10 big blinds. Next time, we'll crown a super high roller champion here in Monaco.
The jungle's getting closer and closer.
As chip leader, Ronno Lowe looks to continue his hot run.
Oh yeah.
He's joined by his pals from Macau, Paul Poit, and the always dangerous Richard Young. And Ole Schmeion hopes for some divine intervention.
You're praying.